Hey everyone, this is Mike Reese, aka Melting Face 3D from Blender Noobs, and I wanted to show you guys a really quick and extremely helpful tip for getting out your preview animations out of Blender. So first, before we get into the how-to, why do we even use preview animations? Well, the preview animations uh, will quickly allow you to review your timing of your shots. So uh, within this file, we have some animation going. Um, the scrubbing timeline doesn't always give you the best results, especially if you have a heavy scene. So doing a quick preview animation will show you the exact timing and how things are looking. One of the things that it's really useful for is showing your art director or your lead how things are coming. You can get quick feedback with how the animations are, where you need to add some like additional animations or improvements without doing a final render, which takes up a lot of time. And then finally, preview animations are great for doing some pre-compositing for the final shot. What's great about that is that you can save a ton of time putting together some compositing, especially with After Effects, before you even do the final rendering, so that you can work out a ton of ideas and a ton of challenges so that you know that the final render is going to work out without spending like all that time rendering out with cycles or with Eevee and spending a ton of resources rendering that out. So definitely use preview animations. So with that out of the way, let's get going with how to make a preview animation. There are different kinds of preview animations. And what I mean by that is that there are different things that you can do to get a certain level of quality of a preview animation. So in this case, right now we have a solid preview animation, meaning the viewport has it as a solid. This will render out really, really fast, um, but you don't get all of the information that you may need for maybe a more comprehensive preview animation for doing some pre-compositing for the final shot. But this is great for um, this will be great for previewing how your animation is looking, the timing, because you don't need that texture or material information for that. So let's set up a quick 100 frames, so 100 to 200 frames for a preview animation. The first thing you want to do is figure out, well, what am I trying to preview? So like in this case, it's the first 100 frames. So go to your timeline. So currently I'm in the animation tab. Or better said, the animation workspace. Go to your start frame and do your start frame as whatever you want to start at, and then your end frame, in this case, it's 200. So then right here, this 100 frames, this is what I want to preview. Perfect, it's just this push in. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is, with these preview animations, it's going to take into account everything that's actually on the screen. So these lines, this background, this light. So make sure that whatever you want to have on the screen is on the screen, and whatever you don't want to have on the screen is not visible. So in this case, I actually don't need all this lighting information, so we can turn that off. Um, Great. So then there's that. So now all we'll get is what we'll get is the solid objects. The next thing you'll want to do is set up where you want the preview animation to go. So in that case, you want to go to your output properties, scroll down to output, twirl that open, and then choose the location that you want your preview animation to go. So in this case, it's within this folder. I called it preview animation solid. Many times what many times what I will also do would be like in the name, I will put 100 to 200 to indicate what frames it is. So let's just do that. Lastly, you'll want to choose the file format for your preview animation, and this will depend on what you are trying to do with the preview animation. In this case, what I chose was the FFmpeg video, which is just going to output a video file. Then within the encoding settings, you can just keep this as default, but just make sure to look and make sure that the container is Matroska, and then the video codec is H.264. This will make sure that um, that that will work. So it's really easy. Once you're all done with that, you go to View, and then you go to Viewport Render Animation, and what's going to happen is the timeline is going to scrub through to your active timeline, and then it's going to output that video. So let's do that real quick. You can see in the middle that the frames are cycling through, and then it's done. You can go and open up where your preview animation was saved, and you can see that it's this right here. So this is preview animation solid. By default, it actually does put in the frame information, so you don't need to do that. And then you can see this worked out great. So I'm currently viewing this with VLC Player. If for some reason you wanted to bring this into After Effects, you would need to convert this to an MP4, which I do with a program called Handbrake. Fantastic. So let's say that you wanted a more comprehensive preview animation, and what I mean by that is you'll want to have material information and maybe some lighting information, just to give a better idea about how things are looking, so that you can bring it in to a compositing program to actually do some compositing and some effects, so that you can show your art director or show your lead how things are going. So in that case, it's really easy. The one thing I'll do is go to Material Preview. And again, choose your render output. I'm going to change the name. I'm actually going to call this Material Preview. You can see the other one there. And then just to make it different, let's go to 300. Because in this animation, once it opens up, there's some bloom effects that are happening, and there's a little bit of a rise, but that's okay. So we're going to keep the type, but then the other thing that you'll want to make sure is that when you want a more comprehensive preview, make sure that you're using the Eevee render engine. This is fantastic. It will use your GPU to render it out, and it's very quick, but you also get all this nice information. So we're going to do the same thing. Viewport render animation. And it takes a little bit longer because it's showing more information right on the screen. So we will wait just a couple of moments for that. You can see that in the middle, it's showing the origin point for the last thing that you selected. So in my case, it was the background. Perfect. All right, let's close that. Then we can go to the same folder, and you can see that it is working out great. Perfect. So now I could bring this into a compositing program and start to put together multiple shots, things that will look really nice, but not cost me much with render time. So that's it. That it's super fast and a great way to preview your animations, to do some compositing work, to show your art director. It will save you guys a ton of time. So let me know in the comments if you like this or if you want to learn anything else about preview animations. Thanks so much.